Good morning from the Oklahoman's video studio. I'm Dave Moyes, joined as always on Monday mornings by Mike Knopp, Executive Director of the Oklahoma City Boathouse Foundation, for our weekly update. And we get closer and closer to the Road to Rio event and the kickoff of the RiverSport Rapids, which will be May 7th and 8th. But first of all, this weekend, the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon, the Run to Remember 16th annual version, held on Sunday. You were involved?
Yes, I did the 5K, so I didn't do the marathon. I typically try to do at least the half, but did it with my kids. It's such a wonderful, inspiring event for Oklahoma City, and would never want to miss it.
A couple of your boys ran with you. How'd they like it?
Oh, they loved it. They went right along, did a great job, and of course they loved the end. With the medal, and then of course the food. So
Not gonna lie, the Carl's Jr. burgers smelled really good out there.
It was great. Yeah, it was a really great event. We had a booth at the expo, and we're putting people in whitewater kayaks to kind of get some buzz going about the opening of RiverSport Rapids.
The expo was Friday and Saturday over at the Cox Convention Center. And the buzz, you mentioned the RiverSport Rapids are coming quite along. We've mentioned the rafting, the Raft Guide School, and I'm assuming that training and education is proceeding, but something we haven't talked about is tubing.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a really fun little added feature of RiverSport Rapids. In the last couple of weeks, we've been doing, of course, a lot of testing on the rafting operation and the kayaking. We actually have Olympic athletes in training right now. But last week, we put some tubes out to just kind of test different variables of our channels for the tubing operation. And we really feel like we found a great position for that in terms of the way we manage the pumps. And so what we're going to do is do something called twilight tubing. So every day at a certain time, probably about 5 to 8, have tubing that occurs, and you can come down with your family and go into one of our channels and take a ride down. You don't go down the whole channel; you go down part of the channel, the part that we think is the most reasonable for tubing, and it certainly is. If you've ever been river tubing, this is not like a lazy river. This is a true
It's
river.
A little more active.
A little more active. It's kind of an action river, but it's a whole lot of fun and just another way to experience RiverSport Rapids.
I guess we should talk about that. Is it the full-on rapids, or do you guys change the water flow a little bit?
Well, that's one of the great things. There are so many different variables with RiverSport Rapids. The way you control the pumps, the way we control our head gate, so at the top, and so we can create a variety of different conditions. So with tubing, we won't have all the pumps on, and we'll have the head gate partially up that allows for a really acceptable and fun tubing experience.
I mentioned the Raft Guide School. How's that going? Do you still need more?
Well, we always need more. It's going well. We had a group out the last couple of weeks, and we had our first 2 classes graduated. So I think there's a lot of eager, energetic raft guides that will be greeting guests on May 7th. But we do need more, and so we're going to continue with our schools going on through May, and it's not too late to register.
BoathouseDistrict.org is the website with heaps of information. And you have an event coming up this week, the ribbon cutting on Thursday.
Yes, this is the actual ribbon cutting with the city of Oklahoma City MAPS 3, where we're going to cut the ribbon in a very appropriate way, which you'll have to see.
Okay.
On Thursday at 2 p.m. So we're real excited about that, to finally open this up, a real signature part of MAPS 3. And I think it's really rewarding for everyone involved in all the projects to see one of the larger projects come to completion in what I believe is such a spectacular way. And I like to think back to the first MAPS when we opened the ballpark, and so I feel like this kind of will have that similar effect, in that it's such an accomplishment. We've had such a great team of people, from Downey Construction to S2O Design, who came up with this, to the city, and all the people working so hard to make this a reality. So a real day of celebration.
That'll be Thursday coming up this week at 2 o'clock, the ribbon cutting there. I'm just imagining at this point, Mick Cornett in a raft somehow having to bust through a ribbon with a large pair of scissors or something. Perhaps not that dramatic.
The mayor has done some dramatic things at the river, if you recall the zip line experience, so yes.
It was one of his signature moments. Anything else we need to know about this week, Mike?
Well, I think we're really trying to gear people up for Road to Rio, and that again, it's just around the corner. It's hard to believe, just less than 2 weeks away. We've been working very closely with the U.S. Olympic Committee on this, because again, this is going to be its own complete area of the Boathouse District that will be really all about celebrating the Olympics. And in addition to that, we'll have the Olympic trials actually going on in the Central Youth Rowing Championship. But at Road to Rio, I wanted to just mention a few things. We're going to have we have zip lines at the river. We're going to have a Rio-themed zip line that will come out of a mountain that they're building.
Okay.
Yes, and that will be something that will be free for people to experience, and that will be part of that Road to Rio experience, along with you'll be able to do an actual long jump into a pit, and we're going to have BMX and sand volleyball and basketball, wheelchair basketball, and then as well as an exhibit, an Olympic exhibit. So we really encourage people to come down and check it out. It's very unique for Oklahoma City to have this. Again, it's going only to 6 places and coming from Times Square. So I think it's really something that you don't want to miss. And it will be followed by our Maddie and Tay concert, which will be also free to the public, and then an incredible fireworks show. I've seen we've done sort of some renderings of this, and it's going to be spectacular. I think one of the best shows we've ever seen here.
And that'll be Saturday, May 7th, the overall event over the weekend, Mother's Day weekend, May 7th and 8th down at the Oklahoma River. You may notice that there are new signs on I-40 and I-35, right?
Yes, they went up last week, working with Oklahoma Department of Transportation, and they created some really wonderful signs that highlight the Boathouse District in the river, and actually has the Olympic rings on it. And that's a very powerful thing to have, being the only river in the country to have the Olympic designation, and to have that up just in time for the Olympic trials and the Road to Rio event, I think is really appropriate. So
it is noticeable, though. There are large signs, and it certainly adds some legitimacy to all of it. It's very cool. Yeah. Mike, as always, we appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Best of luck this week. And again, more information on newsok.com, but also boathouseddistrict.org.